Alright guys, I'm going to be doing a brief overview of the modifications that I've done to my Glock 19 Generation 4. Maybe because you guys haven't thought of them before and they work really well for me. Brief overview of all the pistols that I've had. So from my experience, I've had a Heckler & Koch Compact USP, full-size USP, a 6-hour 229 and a 228, 6-hour 1911, another Glock 19 before this one, and a Springfield XD45. I've gone through quite a few of pistols, and they've never quite had the expectations that I've wanted for a fighting pistol. So I've come back to my Glock 19 after all of those, and I decided to stick with it, and I've done a few modifications. Besides the stippling, the two modifications that I've done that really help out a lot are the magazine release. The magazine release that I've done, and the slide stop. The slide stop is pretty much stock, except for one slight piece that I added to it that make the magazine ejection spring loaded to push out the magazine under stress. Because the Glocks are gravity fed, and sometimes they get oversized and they don't come out, and that's a no-go when you need to put a new magazine in. So for the magazine release, what I've done, I can show you up close, is that it's the stock magazine release. Let me zoom in real quick. So it's the stock magazine release. As you can see on the bottom right here, what I've done is I added a piece of plastic from a leftover holster that I wasn't using or ever going to use. I glued it on with a really good super glue that I found, and I also threaded it into the previous magazine release with a small screw that I had laying around. This works really well because you don't have to spend the $30 on $30+ on a aftermarket magazine release. Is going to do the same thing anyways. This was totally free, took maybe an hour of my time. After that, I stippled it a little bit to add a little bit of traction, grinded it down, make it nice and smooth. Works really well, works just fine. The magazine actually did spring out right there, I'll show you. Now if you did this with any other Glock, Generation 4, Generation 3, probably wouldn't do that too well. The slide lock is back up right now, so there's no pressure on a regular Glock that would push the magazine out, but now it does, even sideways. It does just enough to actually make a big difference. The second one that I've done is with the slide stop, and I'll field strip this real quick and show you. So with the magazine out, and you can see, let me see if I can show you this real quick. I don't know if it'll give you a really good detailed view. Probably the best you're going to get. I don't want to field strip it the whole way. Let's see. Maybe you can tell right there. So what I've done is that on this part right here, the actual part that pushes down on the magazine follower, on most of high-end quality guns, most firearms at all, they have a assisted spring-loaded magazine. So when you press the magazine release, the magazine pops out because of the spring tension on the slide stop. The Glock doesn't do that for whatever reason, and it's a really big deal for me. I'm doing pistol courses, and the two major gripes I have with my previous Glock 19 was that the magazines wouldn't come out by themselves, and the slide stop was really hard to press down. I had an aftermarket slide stop, and I ended up trying to modify it by bending that little tab, the triangle tab, down, and it ended up breaking. It was some hardened steel and just snapped. So I used that little piece and I super glued it onto the bottom of the factory slide stop, and that added a little more depth so that when the magazine was fully inserted, that it pushed down slightly on the follower, adding that spring assisted release and pushing the magazine out. So I don't have to worry about it when I'm doing a speed reload or any kind of tactical reload. I can just push the button and it comes right out. It's really easy to do. It kind of requires get a $8 slide stop, the factory one, and break the tab off if you want to do this, and lid on the bottom, or weld it, however you want to do it. These are the two minor modifications that really make this gun that much better. Really recommend doing them. If you have any questions, post some comments. I'll get back to you. Thanks.